see a lot of musicians who are the really, really good ones are able to not only with the music, but how they transition between songs and how they interact with the crowd. They're providing an overall. It's not even a performance. It's like an experience.
Right. It's an atmosphere.
It's an atmosphere that is created. It's it's kind of difficult to do with improv necessarily. I mean, you don't really. Would you say, Norm, that you can create an atmosphere with improv? That's why I'm saying like music is slightly different in a way. Like it consumes you. I feel like I do like what you're saying. Like comedy can make you think and it can hit you like boom, like right in the gut. It'll hit you like somebody just punch you right in the stomach. I think music can do that sometimes, but I feel like music gives you that more like overarching, like I'm in something larger than myself. Whereas comedy, Norm, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I feel like it's more like this. I'm in this thing for like a minute, and it's like, okay, now what's the next thing? I don't know. That's how I feel about it sometimes.
I think because with music, it's, for one, if you dissect it, it's the sound of a melody that immediately kind of keeps you. Then it's the lyrics and the words being said. With improv specifically, you have to build an entire world in the first 3 minutes. And then have everyone kind of in the back of their mind know what that world is and understand what it is, and then follow you along on that journey, and then tie all those together in one ending world. With music, you're kind of already in that world. Even if you don't know what the song is or who the artist is, you immediately know that you like this sound, and you're kind of enveloped by the words being said or by the tune. And I think the only thing that could probably do that just the same is theater. Because the world is built, you see it in front of you, and then now it's just kind of the performance on stage. I think it's like music first, theater, and then improv would as you get to improv, that veil becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and harder to create, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that also. Is I mean, with improv you're creating on the spot, so you have to really get audience buy-in right off the bat. With theater, you kinda already know what you're getting yourself into when you read the damn play, like when you read the title of the play, and the synopsis of it.
I feel like stand-up has that quality though. Like I've definitely been to a stand-up, and I'm trying to remember like the comic, but he was at the Chicago Theater. It's Eric something, but he's like super vulgar. He has a podcast that's also, I don't know, but like watching his performance is one of the most informative things I've seen in years. It was just like, I don't know how you're doing this right now, but you're talking for 2 hours, and I have not stopped listening to you, and I hadn't done that in probably my whole life. I don't know how that has happened.
Comedy, I will say stand-up is storytelling.
Yeah.
It is
it's intensive storytelling.
And most famous comedians, because I mean you can, when you immediately think about it, you think of comedic bits, and it's literally a beginning, like they start on what they've seen in the world. They talk about the things that they've noticed, and you notice them too, right? So it's funny because you all have that similar kind of connection. So
how would you create that with music then? Like what have you witnessed? And I know Joe's got a question, so we'll get to Joe's question in a second, but how would you create that story with music? Well, I mean, like Hamilton is a good example of that. Right, I mean it's literally a whole fucking story. Just
right, but I think that's multimedia, right? It's like that's theater, which is like 18 different types of like medias combining. It's just like, and I think that's why comedy and music are so relatively like you can compare them very easily, is because it's like there is vulnerability and then it stops there. It's just like when you invite people in, you invite them to yourself, and it's just like I could be playing a song on stage, or I could like performing a song on stage. And what I try to do, at least, even it's like, I try to construct my entire set list to be an experience, and just like not to be like in a dynamic way. Like when you're doing a bit, it's like you're not going to try to make people laugh the entire time. You're going to like work, throw in a little bit, build, big bit, you know what I mean? It's just like, and that's what's so fucking fascinating about it, because it's like you're not like, I see if you go to a show and you listen to like an entire set of music and you're like the entire time, it's just like
it's
cool. Like that was a whole set. Like what I try to do is like I'm gonna do this texture and bring it back, and I'm gonna do this texture and bring it back, and then I'm gonna do this texture and bring it back, and then I'm gonna have this like middle period, and I literally get everyone to stretch with me. I call it like the mid-inning stretch. Like at a baseball game, I'm just like, I'm exhausted at this point, and I always feel fucking weird during the middle of the set, so I get people just to like put up their arms and do a yoga stretch with me, and just like, like engagement, and it's just like I always welcome people and like say tip your goddamn bartender, it's just like, and just like talk to, it's like a weird rhetorical thing happening, because it's like you're talking to an entire room, but you're also just like talking to yourself at the same time, but like you're having a conversation with like almost yourself, but the entire room at the same time. Interspersed with these like really personal, vulnerable things. Like my music is really personal and vulnerable, and I put like everything I possibly can into it. So that's how I try to build like just like this period of time where you're just with me, and we're just like with each other.
And that's the key. That's the key to any good live performance on stage, I think, in general. I mean, we could relate it to on camera as well, but particularly on stage, like people are right there in front of you. Like if you're being disingenuous, like you're saying, you're just playing instead of performing. If you're just trying to tell jokes on stage instead of actually trying to make a connection with the person across from you, the audience can tell that, and they're not going to enjoy it. The like creating that story, that performance, that atmosphere comes with that vulnerability, because being human, we all, if someone is willing to be vulnerable on stage through their music, through their comedy, by connecting with somebody. I mean, our best improv shows were not where, we got very comfortable with each other, so we would just, I wouldn't know what the fuck we were going to say. You wouldn't know what the fuck we were going to say. And they'd just be like, I'm just looking at you. I'm like, no, we're going to go somewhere with this. But it's like, that's a vulnerability. But like, people who on other improv shows, whatever, they'll just come out like, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to say this thing, dude. And you're like, bro, whoa. Yeah. Like, this is whack. Some whack. Like, it's hard for me to even sit in an improv show. I can't imagine what it would be like sitting in a open mic or like a variety show, watching some dude trying to play his music that's fucking corny as shit, and he's trying to like make a bunch of dumbass jokes to like get the people. I would be like, yo, bro, get the fuck off the stage, man. Because like that's something that I mean, people think the funniest thing is like audience members will have that reaction, but fuck, if you're a performer, it's like 100 times you're like, God, bro, get the fuck off. Like you're ruining this. Do you get this feeling at all, Elijah? And do you get this feeling at all where you're like, you see somebody that's so bad, you're like, fuck, you're ruining this for me. Like, these people could come see me and enjoy this thing that I do as well as you, but you're fucking it up so bad, they're going to be turned off forever and never listen to folk music again or never come see an improv show again because you're so fucking bad at this.
Johnson,
you get
why
this
are
at all?
you saying this out loud?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You just got a lot off your chest. That was like months of just pent up.
In the audience.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Go home.
Just mentally heckling person. I have only heckled one person in my entire life, though.
You actually heckled a person?
I heckled a person at an open mic when they were doing a comedy bit, and I was like, I just couldn't stand it. It was right after Trump got elected, and they were talking about Hillary, and I was like, put on my worst Boston accent, and I was like, fuck you! And just like, got him off the stage because he wasn't like doing it funnily, you know? Like he wasn't. I mean, it was just like, it wasn't crass, and it was just like blatant bad. And I was like, yeah you're ruining this for everybody, and you deserve to be heckled. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I wouldn't appreciate if somebody heckled me, but like, if you're gonna bomb, might as well bomb big.
Bomb hard. Well, it's also a learning experience when you bomb. Like, you definitely learn.
I love a good bomb.
Sucks, but yeah, I mean, a good bomb is
you
a good
gotta
bomb.
bomb.
Yeah.
If you can't grow as an artist if you don't bomb on stage, you know. Yeah. You got a good.
If you haven't bombed, I don't trust you as a human.
Yeah. Know? How do you handle? Bomb. I mean, I've definitely bombed. I'm sure you have bombed. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with bombing once?
Chain smoking
you.
and Malort. Just like I bombed my
your bombs
hardest.
are just
Oh,
deep.
they're an existential threat. You know, like this time last year, I played a show at Cafe Mustache, and I broke 2 strings on stage on my guitar, and I had to play my entire 7-song set with a banjo that I had to transpose everything in my head to a different key and in the banjo. And it was like for 4 people, and I was like sweating bullets, and I was just like, I just bombed the worst you could bomb with like a drummer and a banjo. Like, who wants to listen to just it was just awful. And I just got outside, and it was like, pretty satisfied with that. Yeah. Like, it can't get much fucking worse than that.
You always know that it's a shitty night, and it really hurt when like someone comes up and go, not bad, good job.
Oh yeah,
you did really great.
I like your chords.
You did really great.
That's.
And you're like, stop
I like your
talking
chords.
to me.
Yeah, I like your chords.
It's
like, well, I know I didn't do good. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. How do you feel? How do you feel about that? Because I always after performances, you get people who are like, oh, that was. I'm always like,
stop talking.
Yeah.
Are you being? How sincere are you being?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, because here's the thing. As a performer, you know when you done goofed. Like, you know when you've had a good show and you've had a bad show. And I mean, like, there's still maybe some elements even in a bad performance or a bad show where you're like, there was some good bits people might have enjoyed, but on the whole, this was not my best.
Let's be real. With performers, there's either really good or awful.
That's true.
Like, there's only two.
It's hard to have an in-between. That's true.
Because in your mind, it could be a decent show. It could be a show that everyone's like, it wasn't bad. In your mind, like, that fucking sucked. Yeah. I hated every minute of it. Yeah. And you're like, no, it was all right. And like, nope, it was trash. Everyone knows it. Everyone sees it.
Yep.